All right. Well, we finished looking and speculating on Colossus a little bit. Honestly, what's probably going to happen is these are going to be first looks and first thoughts, and then we'll revisit them later. But now let's go to Slayer, right? So Slayer is supposed to be the execute focus tree, but it seems really tailored to Bladestorm. Um, and with that being the case, we're going to be focusing. We'll do two builds like we did in the Colossus video. Um, where we'll start with the talent tree. We'll do a single target, and then we'll do a mythic plus idealistic focus, right? So, imminent demise, overwhelming blades. The choice between relentless pursuit and vicious agility. Realistically, relentless pursuit is going to be for PvP, and this will be for basically everything else. Heal from sudden death. Slayer strikes have a chance to reset the cooldown of Bloodthirst and Overpower. It's probably just going to be this button here. Reducing the cooldown of Overpower or Bloodthirst when they already have an incredibly low cooldown isn't that great, but getting more Overpowers is good. Looking at this, realistic, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna be assuming full single target, no target swapping, whatever. We'll just go Tunnel Vision, right? Slay, Frenetic Flurry, Slayer's Focus, and Overlanding Onslaught. So now we're dealing with overpower stacks, overwhelming stacks. Our abilities could have a chance to proc Blade Storm. So we're going to build single target off this. We'll not be taking that. We kind of have to take Shockwave to get into this. Single target, we're probably taking Slam, Slam damage, double time. Well, we kind of have to take double time just because we need to get to these talents efficiently. So where do we put this other talent? Point. We already have a chance to reset a lot of pummel stack or overpower stack, so we don't really need honed reflexes. Maybe we take points into overwhelming rage instead as single target. And what else do we have? Whirlwind hits 3 or more, concussive blows. No, 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 no. Maybe we just throw in honed reflexes, technically more damage. Maybe you just throw a point into second wind, but even then, that's not enough. How's that not enough points to get to this talent row? I need 2 more talent points to get to this row. That's just wild. We're probably not T-clapping in single target, so taking the T-clap talents doesn't make any sense. We had to take Shockwave to get to here. So, I mean, are we just taking honed reflexes and potentially one of these two, otherwise just throwing in second wind? If we're going single target, we're probably going spear. Auto attack speed. Blade storms matter here, so maybe we'll be picking. Are we going to be picking double blade storm talent here? That blade storms mattered, or just the crit? I mean, I guess we're going to go full focus on the blade storm, right? Yeah, they changed it to They changed it to the damage taken within the Thunderous Bleed effect. What I'm trying to figure out, like, if we're thinking pure single target and we're execute focused with the Slayer talent setup, I don't think we're taking this. If we're thinking AoE, maybe. It is possible, depending on how things work out, that Thunderous Words with the Skull Splitter buff into Bloodborne might be really good single target, and we don't have to care about Spear anymore. But the talent point situation here is just diabolical, man. By the time you get to this third row here, you have 11 points left, and minimum 4 of them have to go into either side. That's what I don't know. If Blade Master's Torment did Ravager, insane, right? I don't know until I touch it, or if I even get into the alpha to touch it. So it becomes a problem, right? The other issue being this says Blade Storm. Blade Storm. If these affected Ravager as well, maybe. But I'm currently under the assumption that we are having to Blade Storm as Slayer. It wouldn't make sense to give us Ravager and then force us into it, but I'm just assuming that's what it is currently, because I'm looking at Slayer specifically. So we're assuming this is our pure single target setup. You're also required to take sudden death for this talent to work. If we're looking at this, let's just assume ready to counter. We'll take that. We need Rend. We'll be taking that. We'll be taking that. There was another interesting thing someone thought of where you can take Spiteful Serenity to double the duration of Colossus Smash and then take Blunt Instruments and in for the kill, giving you 26 seconds of bonus haste, which has potential. Hopefully that kills Tests of Might, but we have a problem. We have a problem by doing that. We're going to assume single target, we're running this. Strength of Arms, single target. Finishing Blows, maybe. But trees are just so restrictive. Even if we take a point here, take a point in Bloodborne, we need the execute focus talents here, right? But we also have to take Blade Storm. And if we are taking Blade Storm, we're probably also assuming that we're going to be taking Hurricane. Because if this procs Hurricane, I mean, I don't know. That's the problem. I think it's worth it in the Colossus tree. I just don't know, man. It's so weird. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build these talent trees out to where we're looking at what do we take and then what do we have left. Like, we have 3 points. We have 3 points. And if we're looking at single target, we need Battle Lord, right? We need Battle Lord for Mortal Strike resets. Which means our bleeds aren't buffed. We're not getting Fatality. I mean, maybe as an extra button, we're taking a point out of Bloodborne and putting it into Skull Splitter instead. Like this. But if this Blade Storm procs Ravager or Hurricane, that just means that we're just getting 5% bonus strength all the time for a little bit. And then that bonus strength also works with Test of Might. The problem is we don't have our hands on anything, so we can't touch anything. So, like, this is assuming, or at least what I'm assuming, is pure single target for this Slayer talent tree. But it just seems so awkward, right? I think the biggest problems that we're having are these, like, we're just strangled by talent points right now. The fact that we need to spend 2 to get to any of these is rough. And then both talent trees are forcing us. Like, this is forcing us to Blade Storm, right? But if we, let's say we remake this, right? We're going to assume someone's going to pick Slayer for AoE. So we did Colossus. Now, what if we do Arms Slayer and we're focusing on specifically AoE, right? It's going to be big Blade Storm focus, big storms. So we're doing storms, we're doing bleeds, so we're probably going to be taking this. I mean, the thing is, like, I think, oh, well, maybe we don't need impending victory, but then I look at the rest of the talent tree, we just don't have. Well, the problem I'm having with this right now is it's not that I feel like I'm feeling choked for talents, but I'm feeling like I'm choked for, like, I'm building a single target build and I'm choking out single target talents, right? Normally it's like, oh, well, I'm losing out on an AoE talent here, so that's fine. But I feel like I can't take all the single target talents. I just don't have enough. But if we're building this for AoE, probably it'll be Blood and Thunder for sure. We don't, like, maybe Rumbling Earth if we want to. We can take Frothing. Yeah, I feel like I'm just like 3 talent points behind building what I want to. Or like taking all the right talents. You know what I mean? It's like if we're building for AoE, we're not focusing on Rage. Guess we'll just take some of this, some of that. So I get to these points where it's like, well, what do I take? I mean, I guess I'm taking Seismic Reverberation, because I guess I'm going to be casting Whirlwind sometimes in AoE. Well, I'm going to be casting Whirlwind in AoE. And if we're casting Whirlwind, we're probably taking Fervor of Battle. Maybe. We're going to assume we're going to be taking Fervor, or buffing our Whirlwind Barbaric Training. Putting Barbaric Training and Sidearm in the same talent pool, like, what are we doing here? What is this for? Is Sidearm the AoE one? But that's, like, here's the thing, right? Is Sidearm the single target or the AoE one? Because these both buff single target and AoE. You're just going to pick the one that does the more damage. Like, this just feels bad. If anything, they should just get rid of, like, Sidearm, maybe. But now I'm at this point where I'm building an AoE setup. And it's like, okay, well, what do I need to take for Mythic Plus? I mean, I guess I could take a point in Rumbling Earth. Do I need more Rage? I don't know. I don't know what our Rage economy is like. So I guess I'm taking a point in Rumbling Earth. We always prioritize damage. So here's damage, 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 damage. How many points do I have left? 2. And guess what? These 2 points are here. And because of Blade Storm focus, we're doing this. So the thing that's so fucking weird to me is they buffed this talent for stamina increase, so you can actually put 2 points into it, but you can't even put 2 points into it. That is true. So if we take a point out of here, but the point is, like, what do we, like if we're building for Mythic Plus, right? Like, this is, I'm considering this like a Mythic Plus build. Where else are we putting points into? Overpower? AoE Fear that's capped at 5 targets? No. Second Wind? I mean, Pain and Gain, I guess? Let's just assume we're not going to take this, and we're going to go Pain and Gain. We'll probably take this. I don't know. We'll go Pain and Gain, but even then, like, we're looking at... Yeah, Second Wind is good. I mean, we could take Second Wind instead. Depending on the fixes, Second Wind is good. But if we're taking Second Wind for the AoE situations, like, we're looking at this, and it's like, okay, well, if I'm doing Mythic Plus, my priority is doing damage. So why is this here? Why do I have to pick between these 2 talent points? And it, by the way, forces you into both of these. It forces you to get, like, look at this fucking row of talents, dude. 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points to get anything you want. Like, you have to spend this to get Avatar. You have to spend this to get Roarer Spear. You have to spend this to get some of the better talents down here. So where are you going to get this bonus 5% health from? I haven't seen Windwalker yet. Mm-mm. But let's build the rest of it, right? Let's build the rest of this. If we're assuming we're going to be AoE focused, we are required to take sudden death because of imminent demise. And if we're going to do more bleeds in AoE, assume we take this, Senior Management, Warbreaker, and for the kill. Dreadnought. I mean, do we even take Fervor? Like, we have all this shit that buffs Slam. Do you even take either of these? Like, but you have to take them to get down here. So what do we take to get here? Let's say if we're doing AoE, we're gonna take like, I don't know, Collateral, Fervor of Battle. If we're taking, well, I guess we want points over here. So instead of Collateral, maybe we're just taking 2 points. We'll want Valor and Victory. We have to take Bladestorm. If we're taking Bladestorm, we're probably taking Hurricane. If we're doing that, we probably want to take Merciless Bone Grinder. If we're going to be doing AoE, if we're doing that, we're probably taking collateral damage. If we're doing that, we probably want Sword of Storm, so we can just spam, because we have Forever Battle, so we're just spamming Whirlwinds. So now, okay, we need 2 points in here to get 1 point in Bloodletting, so that, what does that leave us? Battlelord has a chance to reset the power of Cleave. Well, Cleave is good, so let's go Battlelord. And then now we have nothing! I feel stuck! Well, we can remove it, but like, what do we gain? This talent got buffed. This is just flat 2% damage. Are we gonna take 1% crit chance and refund on execute? Are we gonna take overpower generates 8 rage when used on enemies below for a Mythic Plus build? We're gonna take a single target button on AoE with Skull Splitter? No, probably not. We're probably gonna take 2% damage, and then like we're not even taking exhilarating blows, because what we're assuming is going to happen is this build is going to slam Warbreaker, and then with Fervor of Battle, buffing it with Barbaric Training, with Storm of Swords, you're just going to be you're going to cleave and then spam spam Whirlwind until you can cleave again. Or if you run out of rage, you're going to hope for a proc. You're going to hope for a Tactician proc to give you another cleave. And then, like, that's it. And then that's all our AoE. That is true. I might want Blood Surge, but what do I get rid of for it? But but if I'm spamming Whirlwind in AoE situations, do I need Blood Surge when 30% of my Whirlwind's going to make it cost 30%? Like, I feel like I'm like 3 or 4 points short of an actual build here. I mean, maybe that's good because we have a lot of decent options, but I just feel chokeholded. It's just wild, man. And this is me trying to build an AoE build around the Frenetic Flurry, Blade Storming, additional Blade Storm. Because if we're Blade Storming, we're spreading bleed, so we need the bleed damage. We spread the bleed here, we spread the bleed here, so we get the bleed damage, but we don't take that bleed damage because that's single target bleed damage. But if we want to be able to spread the bleed damage and then do damage while the bleeds are doing damage, then do we take Blood Surge to get more Whirlwind stacks? But do we need more Whirlwind stacks? But do we need more rage from Whirlwind if we're having less rage and Whirlwind costs 20 rage now and we're just spamming Whirlwind because it's also giving us Fervor of Battle stack so we can do AoE damage while also prioritizing damage. But then if we need to do that, then what if we want priority damage, now we can't have additional cleaves because cleave got buffed recently. So now we just have cleave and it's on a 6-second cooldown, but do we want to reset the stack with cleave? Are we going to be casting Dreadnought? Because Dreadnought's really good because we're buffing the amount of damage Overpower does, which buffs Dreadnought. So we're going to do that, but because we want to reset cleave instead of and just gamba on fucking Battlelord resets on cleave with Merciless Bone Grinder and AoE, and it's like, what's happening here? What have they done? Like, what the fuck is happening with the? I feel like someone is literally taking me by the neck and choking me out. You will spin that talent point. You will lose something out of it. Like, what the fuck is happening? These talent points are so weird. I haven't even looked at Fury. I've only looked at arms. It feels like the whole expansion's built around single target Colossus so far. That's the only one that's made fucking sense. And even then, I don't have enough points for a single target Colossus build to even grab Fatality. Like, what is happening? What have they done to us? Like, if they removed this 2-point here, then you could go ba, and at least you'd have Fatality, right? You at least, maybe you could even get, like, I don't know, man. You could get, like, sharpened blades for increased cleave damage, because obviously with Bone Grind you want cleave damage. You just can't, like, fuck, dude. What have they done to this? It's so awkward. Like, oh, God. It is just so awkward. Because if you're wanting to spread bleeds, the only way to spread bleeds is by taking Blood and Thunder. But I mean, like, are you just, like, not going to take Shockwave then? And then that's an additional point board. Does that point go? Do you need Rage? You're going to put Point Overwhelming Rage instead? If I take a point out of Shockwave, it just removes half the tree? Like what? Like, what? Like, what is happening to me?